Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro led a joint meeting of the Council of State and the Council of Defense. Argentinian universities started a 72-hour national strike to demand better salaries and condemn Javier Milei's government policies. And in Palestine, media reported that Israel has killed about 1.8% of the population of Gaza since October 7, 2023. Hello and welcome to From the South. My name is Belén de los Santos. I'm from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. On Monday, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro led a joint meeting of the Council of State and the Council of Defense. Meanwhile, the high political commander of the nation was held in the place known as the Yellow House, headquarters of the Foreign Ministry in the city of Caracas. Since July 30th, the Council of State and Defense Council have been in permanent session to address and confront the terrorist actions of the ultra-right-wing groups following the re-election of Nicolás Maduro as president of the country. It should be noted that the meeting was also attended by the Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, the Attorney General Tarek William Saab, and the Military High Command.
I was saying it with some delegates who arrived from Spain before the elections on July 28th. In Venezuela, the future of humanity is being defined, just as it was in 1936.
And during his speech, the president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, said that his government is fighting to guarantee peace in the country.
Today in Venezuela, under very different conditions, the same battle is being fought in peace with a powerful and strong institutional framework. A people's power with the territorial capacity to guarantee peace, work and the life of the people. A cohesive and patriotic military power ready to fight with the will to fight, with its own doctrine, with its own strategic concept, the backbone of the defense of the homeland.
And we stay in Venezuela as the Minister of Popular Power for Transportation, Ramón Velázquez Araguayan, informed on Sunday that the Conviasa website and the metro collection system were attacked by the hacktivist Anonymous. Through his Instagram account, the minister denounced once again the attacks of the hacktivist collective Anonymous against the website of Conviasa Airline, which they managed to neutralize with their technical equipment. He added, likewise, the attack against the ticket collection system in the subways of Caracas, Valencia, Los Teques, Maracaibo State, railroad institutions, and Metrobus caused a collapse in the service. He also added that they acted to safeguard all the information of the users. And we stay in Venezuela. The Electoral Chamber of the highest judicial body announced in its ruling on the first balance of the contentious electoral appeal that seeks to settle the controversy of the July 28th elections that the former ultra-right candidate Edmundo González Urrutia is in contempt of the court. With the report, Madeleine Garcia.
Del Tribunal Supremo de Justicia, la magistrada Carítica Beatriz Rodríguez Rodríguez.
La Sala Electoral del Tribunal Supremo de Justicia.
The Electoral Chamber of the Supreme Court of Justice gave the balance of the first phase of the expertise of the contentious appeal that concluded with the appearance of President Maduro before the Electoral Chamber, a process that will lead to know all the details of what happened in the July 28th presidential election. 48 people were summoned, 38 from political parties, 9 former candidates, and the Venezuelan president. The big absentee was Edmundo González Urrutia, the ultra-right-winger who caused all the doubts about the electoral process.
It is hereby stated for the record that the former candidate Edmundo González Urrutia did not attend and, therefore, did not comply with the summon order, disregarding with his inaction the mandate of this, the highest instance of the electoral contentious jurisdiction of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Pero allí no queda todo. Partidos políticos.
But that's not all. Political parties that supported Edmundo González Urrutia said that they had access neither to the witnesses nor to the minutes, because behind all that electoral consultancy was the organization called SUMITI, created by Maria Corina Machado.
Todos miembros de la Alianza Plataforma Unitaria Democrática y postulantes del
All members of the Democratic United Platform Alliance and postulants of former candidate Edmundo González Urrutia did not submit any electoral material, arguing that they do not have any type of documentation related to this electoral process. In this sense, they stated that they do not have the minutes of the scrutiny of the witnesses, nor the list of witnesses, alluding, furthermore, that they did not participate in the process of transferring and safeguarding any material. They also pointed out that the organization SUMATE is part of the technical advisory team of the Democratic Unitary Platform Alliance. And, in turn, they did not know who uploaded the information of the alleged tally sheets in the webpage www.resultadospresidencialesvenezuela2024.com.
La sala electoral iniciará la segunda fase.
The Electoral Chamber will initiate the second phase of the expert analysis of all the minutes and electoral material consigned. At the end of the process, they will issue a final sentence, which...
Now let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. In Uruguay, the Union of Workers of the state-owned fuel company ANCAP Federation began a protest action on Monday against the privatization administrative decision. The union opposes the exit of the public company from the fuel distribution and sales business at Carrasco Airport, which will become private. A statement from ANCAP's board of directors states that a lawsuit filed by the private partners due to differences in the management of the business has been settled. For its part, the union announced as of Monday 3 days of strike in different areas of the company every day. And on Monday, Argentinian universities started a 72-hour national strike to demand better salaries and condemn Javier Milei's government policies. Union and social organizations are holding a 3-day protest to make visible the current situation of the universities and the claims of the sector. Protesters demand the national government a real recovery of salaries in a context marked by a strong socio-economic crisis. Meanwhile, they denounced the loss of workers' purchasing power, while inflation in the country between December 2023 and June 2024 amounts to 125.5%. And also in Argentina, on Sunday afternoon, police officers of the Rio Negro province murdered Mapuche Indian Juan Carlos Villa in El Bolsón in the north of Patagonia. In addition, another member of the Mapuche, Emmanuel Moll, was injured following a complaint the home of the dead victim was invaded by the agents. Many native residents framed the incident as part of a framework of hate speech promoted by politicians and businessmen. In a still very confusing version, Villa was killed by the agents and Moll was injured and later transferred to the hospital in the Bolsón area, where he remains hospitalized. We go now to Brazil, where at least 12 lifeless bodies were identified at the Legal Medical Institute, or IML, of the Sao Paulo state, out of the 62 that were on the plane that crashed on Friday in the Brazilian state. The IML Central is working exclusively on the case and the identification of the victims' remains. The unit received the 62 bodies of the victims of the air tragedy, of which 34 were men and 28 were women, including passengers and crew members. One of the corpses was released to the relatives for legal proceedings. The relatives are the first to be informed about the progress of the examination work. The government of Sao Paulo decreed on Friday a 3-day official mourning period in honor of the victims. In other news, joint efforts between the Haitian Transitional Government and the national and foreign police forces failed to contain the escalation of violence in the country. On Sunday, heavy blasts disturbed the order at the Port-au-Prince National Palace. Shots were reported in a wide area around the executive headquarters from Champ de Mars to Nassau in the center of the capital city. The serious incident was also reported during a visit to Haiti by CARICOM, a mission of the Community of Caribbean States. In this regard, local media showed the heavy mobilization of troops as well as the damage caused by the impact of bullets on the infrastructure of the palace. In this context, on Sunday, the rector of the State University of Haiti, Fritz de Homs, was appointed as representative of this country to the Caribbean Community Reparations Commission. In this sense, through an official statement, the Haitian Foreign Ministry emphasized that this assignment comes after the participation of Haiti in the 47th meeting of the Conference of Heads of State and Government of Grenada, being this the first time that the Caribbean country will be part of this commission. In this context, the rector expressed his gratitude with the election, which he described as historic for the Haitian nation. The Homs also took the opportunity to congratulate the members of the rectorate for their commitment, patriotism, and sense of responsibility. And in the Dominican Republic on Sunday, August 11th, members of the LGBTQ+ community made their presence felt in the streets of downtown Santo Domingo during the celebration of the Dominican Pride Caravan. With the slogan "Diversity in the Streets, Demanding Equal Rights," the collective took to the city to make the population aware of the existence of the community and to request the authorities to implement policies of respect, tolerance, protection, and inclusion, with a special part dedicated to the memory of the community members that were murdered. The parades took place in the main sectors of the metropolitan area, including the Colonial City, New City, San Carlos, Villa Juana, Villa María, and 24 de Abril. We now move on to other topics. In the United States, Tropical Storm Debbie left at least 7 dead, flooded areas, and thousands of people without power after its passage. According to media reports, among the dead are a 12-year-old boy and a woman who died in a car accident in Dixie County, Florida on August 5th. Meanwhile, in New Albany, Mississippi, a trucker lost control and rushed into a canal while a tree fell on top of a mobile home and killed a 13-year-old boy. On the other hand, in Pennsylvania, a southern New York, a dozen people were trapped in their homes by the aftermath of the weather. We go to Greece, where local authorities ordered the immediate deployment of firefighting teams to the outskirts of the capital city to contain the flames of a large wildfire. 24 water-dropping aircraft are currently assisting firefighting teams in the struggle to stop the advance of the flames. The fire department reported that it ordered the evacuation of more than a dozen areas of the Greek capital, while facilitating the relocation and care of civilians affected by smoke inhalation. The fire started on Sunday afternoon about 35 kilometers from the Greek capital and was fanned by the strong winds and extremely hot conditions that hit the country. We have a second short break coming up, but before, we invite you to join our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back from the south. In Palestine, Israel has killed about 1.8% of the Gaza's population since October 7th, during its devastating genocidal operation in the coastal enclave. According to the Palestinian Central Statistics Office, Israel's attacks in Gaza killed more than 39,000 people in the last 10 months. Less than 72 hours ago, the occupiers' troops killed more than 110 people in the Al Tawin school while they were praying. The record indicates that about 70% of the wounded are women and children. The number of missing people stands at more than 10,000, and that to this day, 34 people in Gaza have died of starvation, and more than 3,500 children are in danger of death from malnutrition and shortages. On the other hand, the government of the United States maintains support for Israel's genocidal operation against Gaza and announced the sending of the USS Georgia submarine with guided missiles. In this way, Washington further contributes to raising tensions in the region. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin ordered the ship's dispatch on Sunday after a telephone conversation with his Israeli counterpart, Yoav Gallant. On Sunday night, the Palestinian resistance movement Hamas confirmed that it will not send negotiators to the talks that will begin in 4 days under the auspices of Qatar, Egypt, and the United States. They asked the mediators to present a plan to implement what has already been agreed on July the 2nd, based on a vision of Washington and the United States Security Council resolution. The movement insists that the mediators must ensure that all the agreements previously signed by the parties are fulfilled, and reiterates that there is no point in promoting new rounds of negotiations if Israel systematically disrespects what has been agreed on in those negotiations. And in this regard, the Palestinian resistance movement Hamas rejected Israel's false narrative to justify its attack on Al Tawin school, where more than 100 people were killed and more than 150 were injured. The Palestinian Islamic Resistance Movement claimed that no armed individuals were among those killed in the Israeli bombing, stressing that they were all civilians who were targeted while performing the Fajr prayer. Similarly, Hamas denounced that the Israeli regime deliberately spread false narratives after every massacre it committed in order to justify its crimes. For its part, the Palestinian Islamic Hijab Resistance Movement maintained that choosing the time of prayer to carry out the massacre confirms that Tel Aviv intended to cause as many deaths as possible among the civilian population. And the government media office in Gaza condemned the statements by the Israeli occupation army to justify the Al Tawin school massacre, which left more than 100 dead civilians. The governmental media office in Gaza City called on the various media outlets that use the Israeli occupation narrative to modify the data and conduct professional investigations. It further called on the international media that adopted this false narrative to apologize. Similarly, the Palestinian Media Office called on the United Nations to form international fact-finding committees to visit the Gaza Strip. On this recent Israeli attack in Gaza, the government office of the coastal enclave confirmed that the Israeli occupation story about the presence of armed men in the Al Tawin school was false. We now move on to other topics. International Atomic Energy Agency Chief Rafael Grossi stressed that the attacks on the Zaporizhzhia power plant increase the risk of a nuclear accident to extreme levels. Although the IAEA chief refrained from making any accusations, the reminder comes after a Ukrainian drone hit one of the cooling towers of the nuclear power plant on Sunday. Engineers confirmed that the interior has been severely damaged. United Nations experts assured that any military action against a nuclear power plant represents a clear violation of the 5 principles of facility protection that have been adopted by the United Nations Security Council. In other news, China's foreign ministry expressed concern following Ukraine's incursion into Russia's Kursk region and reiterated its call for war de-escalation. In this regard, Beijing urged all parties involved to follow three principles: to prevent the conflict from spreading beyond the battlefield, to prevent the escalation of hostilities, and to refrain from fanning the flames. The foreign ministry reaffirmed its readiness to maintain communication with the international community and to play a constructive role in seeking a political solution to the crisis. Nine European countries, including Spain, France, and Ireland, denounced Elon Musk's social media X for the unauthorized use of private data to train its artificial intelligence. According to the Austrian privacy organization Neuve, X violated European Union regulations by using data of millions of users without their consent for the purpose of testing its artificial intelligence. The complaints have been filed by authorities in the above countries, as well as in Poland, Greece, Italy, the Netherlands, Belgium, and also Austria. In less than 10 days, Musk's network faces several important actions. In Venezuela, he is held responsible, as well as in the United Kingdom, for contributing false information and hate campaigns. And also in this context, former Twitter CEO Omid Kordestani sued Elon Musk for over $20 million in debt. Kordestani reported that the lawsuit was filed in California Superior Court, the latest of many legal actions brought against Elon Musk by former Twitter leaders since he took office. Last March, 4 former executives sued Musk to withhold more than $128 million in severance payments after they were ousted from the company. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and also on TikTok. For TeleSUR English, my name is Belén de los Santos. Thank you for watching.